Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, noon after good.
It is a good day, isn't it? And
Yes, it
we're
is.
back for another One Flesh.
Yes, one flesh indeed, where we are being like sugar and water. Water.
That's right. So we are here. We're excited. We're going to be talking about lessons learned. So we're excited to be here with you today. We're going to let our social media get an opportunity to catch up with us. So please share this thing, like it, subscribe to it, wherever you are. Come on in the room. Come on in the room.
Come on in.
Come on in. And as you come in, just say hello. Say where you popping from.
Say where
We
you're
want to hear
from.
from you.
We're gonna wait.
We're waiting and waiting and waiting. Thank you guys for getting locked in. We are live. It's One Flesh. I
In
am
living color.
Kasim Ford. This is my beautiful wife, Shadira. Isn't she lovely?
And I'm a reflection of his glory.
Oh yes, I like that. I like that very much.
Mm.
We're going to be talking about some of the lessons that we learn. One Flesh is a program that we use every week to encourage couples about coming together, about oneness of purpose.
Yes.
Coming together as one unit. We use our own life experiences. We give you just some bits and pieces of encouragement that will help you draw you together. And today, as I said, we're going to be talking about lessons learned. A lot of times, couples go through some tough scenarios, some rough spots and patches in their lives, and it could become a cycle because you don't take time to learn the lessons that you're meant to learn in the midst of those patches that you go through in life. So we're going to talk about some of those lessons that we would have learned, and uh, we want to hear from you.
Well, let's gonna go back. How I miss those vacations, but I'm gonna talk about it. Lessons learned. When Cassim and I go on our vacation, we we enjoy ourselves, we just bask ourselves in the moment. But at the end of the vacation, whether it's a 1 day trip, a weekend, a week trip, a 2 week trip, whatever trip we take alone,
Mm-hmm.
we look at the highs of that experience and the lows, meaning what what was good about this vacation, what did we learn from this experience, because there's something you would have learned going on the experience, what should you improve on, like, I mean, I remember when we was traveling with children, you travel with so many suitcases. We had about like over 6 suitcases, and that was a struggle traveling with so much suitcases. So we learned that, hey, when we traveling, especially by ourselves, we're not gonna walk with no more than one suitcase, a carry on, because we're gonna shop and we don't want to be overweight.
Yeah.
But yes, we did that when we went our short vacation alone. But guess what? Even though we improved in one area, we kind of messed up in the next area because I packed very light, light to the point where none of us had underwears.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, none of us had underwears on vacation. We had to end up going Walmart. So I learned that even though I'm packing light, I need to make sure that we at least have our underwears in our suitcases, our carry-on. Drink into that.
Woo. I had to sip to that. Um, so yeah, I mean, that's a light example
Oh, yeah, that's very light.
that we just wanted to share with you to show you that even the minute little things you need to assess and evaluate. We spoke about this a little bit last week when we spoke about having a vision in your relationship.
Right.
Um, But even as you go towards your vision, this whole idea of learning lessons and taking account of your lessons is very important. You might be going through some stuff in your marriage, and it's been lasting for um, weeks, months, maybe even years, and you don't know why you're going through what it is that you're going through. I mean, um, we can go back through some of the last couple of scenes in our lives, and um, we're going to try to analyze and understand what is the meaning behind the mess. And that's why that is what we're encouraging you today is to go back to those scenes, these things that you'll be going through. I mean, some of them might be small, some of them might be large, but it's the reason, as I said earlier, for the cycles. Why is it that you're going through what are you going through, and try to understand what is the meaning.
Yes, because a lot of times, we go through our seasons where, either we have issues with our husband has issues with us, and we have issues with the children, and everything seems to be going like left instead of going right. And when we get you over get and when we get over the hurdle, it's like we never look back and reflect like what happened, and you know basically analyze what went wrong, or try to understand what lessons you had to learn from that experience. Most times people just live forward and don't look back at the past. And I know a lot of times people don't like to look back at their past, but I know that a person told me life is lived forward but understood backwards. And a lot of times who you are today is usually a reflection of what you've been through, your past. Like, you could be sick, have a season of just feeling sick, not feeling your best. Every minute you're going to the hospital, you don't know what's wrong with you, and you're stressed out. And then eventually you get healed from that. You're no longer sick. You understand? So you went through that experience, and then you get to learn that God is a healer. Yes, you're hearing, oh yeah, you hear people say, oh yeah, God is a healer, God is a healer, He healed me, He healed me. You read a word and stuff like that, but you have never experienced God in that dimension. It's only until you got sick and you prayed, even though you were frustrated, and you got healed, you begin to realize God as your healer. Even in your marriage, probably your children giving you stress, your husband giving you stress, when you feel like you want to kill him. But God, yeah, but God, you feel like you want to kill him, but God. And it's through that experience you probably learn how to be patient. You heard about the word patient. People tell you, oh, you have to be patient in marriage, you have to be patient. But sometimes when you go through the experiences and you come out strong, then you realize, it taught you the true value of being patient.
You wanna give some examples?
Uh, you could give one.
True.
You're the best one.
I the best one to give
Yeah.
examples.
I just always push your buttons, so I know you have patience.
um, well, I thought I had patience until I got married, and God showed me more patience. I must say I have a very special wife, very, very special wife that tests me in so many ways. Um,
It's good to have this.
as I said, she tests me in so many ways, and I think God showed me, and I can think He used her to prepare me in a lot of ways for different things in my life, because I am slow to respond to a lot of things. Um, what I would say though is that even in a discussion of patience in your marriage, one of the things that I learned is that your marriage cannot be fruitful and happy without God at the center of it.
Yes.
And I think the this is sort of interesting thing to say, but um, Shadira cannot be my source, and I cannot be Shadira's source. That's one of the things that I've learned. When we tried to be the source that pleased each other, I think we failed each other miserably. Um, I don't think I by myself can make Shadira happy. I don't think Shadira by herself can make me happy. Um, and it's when you let it go and say, God, you be in the midst and in the middle of this, that's when you get some real peace. But when you try to stop changing each other into doing the thing that you think you need, I can't make Shadira the exactly the perfect female to make me happy, and she can't do that for me. And I think when I think any couple that gets across that barrier and acknowledges, that God has to be our source, that's one of the greatest lessons that you can learn in marriage.
Yes, God has to be, He has to be the source of your relationship. And I mentioned before that life is lived forward but understood backwards. And I give you the story of us on vacations and how we reflect back on what we've been through, well, been through on vacation. And Cassie brought it back to reality with examples, of course. And you know, you have to. I believe you have to go back and reflect. It's important that you go back, take some time, and go back and reflect on what had happened to you or what had happened in your relationship as a couple. And there's a character in the Bible, his name was Solomon. Solomon himself, he himself had to sit down and understand certain things. You understand? Even though God says he was the wisest man, right? Solomon was the wisest. Yeah. God said that Solomon was the wisest, but even as wise as Solomon was, he had to sit down and process things. So, I mean, we can do the same thing too. We can, nothing is wrong with sitting down and just processing what is taking place. And in life, as a person, as a couple, you need to. I can't stress this enough. Maybe I keep saying a lot, maybe I say it a lot of times, but I want you to get it in your head that you need to pause and just process your life as a couple. And if you want to be a person that grows from one level to the next, you're gonna have to process or take a pause and reflect back on the experiences you had and try to understand what God is trying to teach you, what God is trying to show you. You know, the situations you've gone through, good or bad, it's not really wasted time. 'Cause people are like, I don't want to look back at my past because of my past. I'm not trying to look back at my past. I ain't doing that. I ain't got no time. I don't like that. But sometimes you need to go back in your past and just how to say this? Go back in your past and just
Reminisce,
rem-
think,
think.
think. You need to assess your life.
Right.
There's
That's the word.
sometimes
That's just your life.
there are times that you have to sit down and look back and acknowledge your failures, acknowledge your triumphs, and think of where you are, where you want to be, what you need to change, what you've learned, and how or what you need to improve on. What could you have done differently? It's important that you do these things. Um, be a thinker. We encourage you to do that. Think, process your life. That's very important, not just for a person that is married, but any human being that is looking to have any life of meaning. It's not a waste of time to sit down and just think. Obviously, there's a time when you got to get up from that thinking place and start to do and fix and move forward. But it's important that you take a moment and process your stuff.
And the people that excel in life on a whole are usually thinkers. Think. What's that scripture in the mind? What's in the mind? As a man thinketh, so is he.
Yes.
As a man thinketh, so is he. Now, we said all of that, and yeah, it may sound a little boring, but we have set a foundation for you this afternoon. So now we're going to talk about what did we learn, from what we have gone through as a couple. What did we learn? We've experienced many things in as a couple in relation to our relationship with each other, in relationship to our relationship on the job, in relation to our relationship in church, and also in relationship to our ministries, and also the people that we associate ourselves with, to set that foundation. So we have learned as a couple that we need to set boundaries as a couple, because I am a dancer. I love to dance. And I love to do what I do with a level of excellence. Sometimes most times when it's not done with a level of excellence, I get a bit frustrated. But I love to execute things with a level of excellence, and I love to see things done with a level of excellence. That's just me. And yeah, dance is my passion. When it comes to Kasim, he also loves to see things on the level of excellence. When it comes to producing events, such as Abba's Cares Festival, he does it with a level of excellence. And what I have seen with us being so involved in ministry and so involved in, drenched in ministry, is that people will come to us, try to connect with us, and most times it's like they're coming not for us per se, but they are coming for our fruit which is dance, our fruit which is producing events. They like what they see, so they come to attack our fruit. And what we have learned was to set boundaries. So we have developed a level of discernment when it comes to people who we interact with, people who come into contact with us. We set our boundaries. I think we do it with everybody. Everybody we come in contact with, we discern them, we analyze them, and we're like, okay, this person, we kind of sense what this person is here for. This person may just be an assignment. This person may just be maybe a lifelong partner. This person may be a Judas. Yes, a Judas. And nothing is wrong with interacting with a Judas, because look at the Bible. God loved all his disciples. He had loved Judas. And even though God had loved Judas and wasn't interacting with Judas still betrayed him regardless. But God still loved him anyway. So we basically analyze what type of persons are coming into contact with us, and we set our boundaries. And they do this based on past experiences. Because sometimes when people come into us and we feel like, We are Christians. We're supposed to let them open up our house, our hearts, everything to them. Just be transparent, just be open with them. It's not everybody. Not everybody deserves that type of um,
Access.
yes. Not everybody deserves that type of access. It doesn't mean that I would love them any less. It just means that you won't deserve you. Some people just don't deserve that type of access. So we set boundaries.
You said a lot in that period of time there. I mean, I don't know if there's any more that I could add to that in terms of setting boundaries. I'm definitely one of those persons that a lot of people don't come up into my space because God kind of have me set up that way. I could feel the vibe. I could. But we love people. That's the thing about it. We love people.
We love people, yes.
We enjoy spending time with people and chatting and laughing. But it's not everybody that is meant to be close. And we understand that. And we understand that God has an assignment on our life that we cannot jeopardize by just, letting anybody attach themselves to.
Yes, and we are saying this because a lot of times there's certain people who will come into your life, especially when it comes to your fruit, what you have. They would come and they will try to take advantage of it. They
A
will
lot,
take advantage.
a lot of people like the hype, but the reality of the matter for us is that it's not about the hype. It's really about, purely in our heart, we want to share ourselves, we want to share with people, with Shadir, with her dance school, even myself with doing events. My real intention is getting the message out there. People might see the artists and all that stuff, and they like the hype, they want to get attached to that, but it's not about that, it's about reaching people in a different way. There's a lot of people that won't listen to first on a corner, but they see somebody strange come around doing something differently, like a comedy or a singer that sound nice, they're gonna listen to them. So it's just a different way of getting the message out there, and that's what it is for us. And same thing with dance. Dance is an attractive thing, but as I said, I think we prolong that point. We do set boundaries.
Right. Next thing, when it comes to our marriage, I'll let you take that.
When it comes to our marriage, um, really not people.
No, no. When it comes to our marriage, we make time. We sacrifice time for each other. A lot of times we would be in our yes, we are husband and wife. Yes, we're supposed to love each other. Yes, we are involved in ministry. Yes, we see each other every day. But still, we never really make time for each other. So we've learned that in the midst of our busyness, we've learned to make time for each other, whether it's to sit down and eat together during lunch or to take a drive out somewhere or and I'm not talking about a dating thing because a lot of times people only want to date. They only like if things going bad in the marriage, people think that okay, yeah, things going bad, so let me just go out on a date to rekindle things. I don't think people need to wait until that time to rekindle things, although it's a plus, to rekindle things because you're supposed to keep the fire burning. You can't wait till it die out to just light it up back again. I think it's supposed to keep burning. But yeah.
Yeah, there's a difference between time and quality time. Shadir and I spend a whole lot of time together. If we're not working, we're together. Um, and what we've learned is just being together isn't enough. You have to be intentionally doing things that connects you. It's not just about being there, it's about ensuring that you're building that connection. So that's important. Another thing that I would say I would have learned in the marriage is it's important to have a good sex life, a healthy sex life. Very important.
Not one bam done. Yeah, check. I did that. It's not that.
Yeah, because yeah, actually, you said it's not just something you check off your list. It's something that actually connects you. And if you don't take time and enjoy each other and love on each other in that seriously intimate and physical way, it is something that can draw you apart. And I think if we are honest, if we've seen periods where we have gone without that, and I've seen where we have would have drifted apart.
Ooh.
Would have drifted apart because of it. And it's essential. I mean, there's some people that feel like people talk about it too much, but it is essential to relationship. And one of the things that we have learned is not to underestimate um, how important sex is. A healthy sexual relationship.
Sex is king.
Another thing I would say, I put that first so that we get over that hump. Another thing that I would say that I would have learned is speak. Say what you don't pent up stuff. Don't let issues compound themselves. Talk to each other. That's something I used to do a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah. We used to print up stuff, and then all of a sudden he would just bust out all these things and what happened before. I was like, what? I did not know. Like it was very shocker.
I'm a peaceful guy. I like to keep the peace. For me, I enjoy peace. So early on, I would think, just to keep the peace, just let it slide and pass. And after a while, I realized that, I was becoming unhappy because the next person they good, but you miserable. And
I'm the next person.
so you do need to say, speak to your spouse, tell them, I didn't like this. This wasn't good. I mean, when you did that, it made me feel like this. When you did that, I feel like this is how you're treating me. The person's intentions might not be the way that you're feeling, but at least you will let it out and you guys can work on it. And if the other person truly cares about you and truly cares about a relationship, you would over time see, yourself to be happy. And even on that same point, I would say this: tell your spouse, uh, tell your spouse how you feel about them, the good things. I think a lot of times we talk to everybody else and we tell them how awesome our spouse is. But we hardly ever look to our spouse and tell them
Oh yeah.
how awesome you are.
Yeah.
And you take it for granted that the other person needs to hear that. That's what I would say. And that's very important. Tell each other, flirt with each other.
Foreplay is good.
Tell each other how awesome you are. Recognize the goodness in each other. This is stuff that you've heard us say.
Yeah, it's true. Recognize them because a lot of times, like if something happened bad, be quick to say, "Oh, you did this wasn't good. That wasn't good." But when you do something good, you don't say it. You already say. Another thing is when it comes to ministry, I think I mentioned ministry, no, ministry, church, the church and ministry, all under the same roof. What we've learned, and I know people always say it, people come, people go. We have seen a lot of people when we were part of ministries. We have seen a lot of people come, and we've seen a lot of people go. And even in starting Abbott's house, we have seen people come so excited. But from the moment you set standards, and they were all into standards, like yeah, they in for that. But once the standards start affecting them, they're like peace, they're gone. And it's the same thing with dance ministry. Well, same thing with our ministries. They're ready to check out, and with our ministries, it's like you have to evolve with us because we're not gonna stay on the same page. We're gonna be going from one level to the next level to the next level. We not staying the same place. So if you can't grow with us, then it may just be your time to go. But at first in the beginning stages, it did affect us because it was like, what is this? Like people coming, people going. But then we understand that it's like people come, people go. So when someone goes, it's like, hey, well, you give them good rhythms, you bless them, don't cuss them, because a lot of times, when someone go, you feel like, oh, they gone, oh, so long with them. But we've learned that when people go, you bless them because whatever you do while that person was there, you have impacted their lives, whether they believe it or not. Wherever they go, you will see the effects. If you're not seeing the effects, you will hear it because you would leave an impact in their lives. So when people come into you, or if you have a ministry or a group or a church, whatever, impact their life as much as possible. Because when they leave, at least they have something to take with them. What you have impacted their lives with. So don't fret. People come, people go. People check in and people check out. Feels like almost like hotels.
Yeah, I think tagged on to what you just said, one of the things one of the biggest things that we have learned in our marriage is to trust in the fact that we will always be there for each other. I think we have gone through some seasons in our life when probably some important persons that we value a lot might have, stopped talking to us, whether it is close friends or family members and all that stuff. And we ended up having to lean on each other. And every time that has happened, I think that it has reaffirmed the thing in us that, we
tight like glue, like sugar and water. Before you.
She's my ride or die.
Yeah, I remember a word was spoken over us said we have to be close. We gotta be close. We gotta be tight. And I wasn't really tight already, but
Yeah, I
going through those
remember that prophecy.
yeah. But now that we have gone through some experiences, we understand why we need to be tight. So, I mean, the enemy gonna come in all forms, attack us, all forms. People will come and attack us in all kind of ways possible. But we know that we have to be strong. We have to be like sugar and water. We hold on to each other. We find strength in each other, and we pray together. Especially when we sensing that there's an attack on us or there's an attack on our family, we begin to pray. We begin to pray against it. And even for the people them that we know that don't like us, or the people that we know that have an issue with us, or the people that we know that are trying to figure us out, and the people that don't know about us, but they have reservations about us, believe it or not, we do pray for them. We do pray for them.
But last one, you have another one? No. The last one I'd like to say is we learned that there is such a thing as a healthy argument.
Oh yeah.
Listen, we used to have some fights and some arguments, and I wouldn't say fights. We never like fight.
No, not physically.
But we had some heated arguments. Somebody storm out the house, drive out the road.
Somebody, both of us did at some point.
Ain't coming back.
Where we going? Where we going? Where we going? Trust me. Some things in your past, something you think God trying to teach you something, but something you just doing some stupidness, some real stupidness. So anyway.
Ain't coming back. But there's such a thing as I think that's one of the things that we've learned. I think we've matured so much to the point that we can have an argument in front of anybody. Because in reality, at the end of the day, I think it comes to the point when you realize and understand that it goes back to the same discussion we had last week. We understand where we're going, we understand who we are now, so we love each other. The arguments, we're gonna have disagreements. I'm not going to do everything that Shadir likes. Shadir is not gonna do everything that I like. But you gotta speak your mind, you gotta say what is what, you gotta be honest.
Be honest.
That's another one.
Oh yeah.
But honesty in a relationship, that's so important. Like, don't lie. Don't make sense to lie.
Don't rearrange the truth. Don't tell a white lie.
No, because trust me,
Straight off as a joke.
it's going to come back. The woman asks if she look good. If this don't look good enough, why you gonna tell her yes? As simple as that. And then she going down the road, strutting her stuff, looking like crap.
That's a nice one. You don't want to tell your spouse that it don't look good, and you say look okay. Okay don't mean nothing. Yeah? Okay don't mean nothing.
That's my term.
Nothing.
Okay, it's okay.
That don't mean nothing. Because when you come back home the next day, that shirt wasn't good.
I wasn't liking it at all. I'm sorry for letting you leave the house looking like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, be honest. I mean, it might hurt your spouse feelings for a little bit, but at least they would know that you have their best interest at heart.
Don't tell me that you never do that, because a lot of times when people go to church and they're rushing to go to church and they're ready and they're supposed to hair ready. Oh, damn, I look good. Yeah, you look good. Yeah, you look good now. You look good. That's what go.
Hey, hurry up, come out of the house. However you look, you look.
And now we're in church. But wait, no, we reached the car. But wait, babe, you come here this morning? And you're like, but I don't like church. I said, well, come as you are, let's go.
Yeah, but
so it happens.
That's life. I mean, just be honest, and as I said, it's such a thing as healthy arguments, and just understand that you guys have each other's. I hope that you're in a relationship where you both have each other's best interests at heart, and you trust that. You have to trust each other that you have each other's best interests at heart, and not expect that, if somebody makes a mistake, that they're malicious against you, or they're doing something intentionally to hurt you. I'm sure that your spouse isn't like that. So those are some of the few things that we've learned. Just that was some lessons learned. Feel free to share in the comments. Tell us about some of the lessons that you have learned in your marriage that you would like to share. And we would like to hear from you. We would love to hear from you. Please. So as I said, leave it in a comment. Please feel free to give to the ministry. You can go paypal.me/Cass and Shad, and paypal.me/Cash and Shad. If you want to sow into this ministry, we would truly, truly appreciate that.
Yep. So yeah, we learned a lot and we still learning, and these are some of the things that we have learned. Trust me, we learn a lot of things, but we just try to dissect, what could have benefited you guys this afternoon.
The main point that we want to leave with this is that it's not necessarily our experiences, because I think we have shared many of our experiences over the last few months that we've been doing this. But to encourage you in this program to do some thinking and reminiscing on your own self, and start that process of learning from your mistakes, understanding your strengths and who you are, so that you can assess where you are, so you can better chart your way forward. So, guys, have a wonderful weekend. God bless you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and remember to stay one flesh like sugar and water.